As taxpayers, we have a legal right to know what's being taught in our schools, so I've been submitting FOIA requests. I've been asking for teacher lesson plans, readings, viewings, and assignments since the beginning of school. To date, I've received 1 page of teacher lesson plans that cover the first 2 weeks of school. That's it.
A mom on a mission suing her local Michigan school district after the school allegedly refused to comply with her multiple requests for her child's classroom learning plans. And she joins us here to discuss. Mother of 2, Carol Beth Lacuti. Carol Beth, thanks so much for coming on today. Wow, a lot of parents have been taking interest in what their children are learning in the classroom here, but really what led you to this point? What determined you to actually stand up and speak?
Well, it was basically just the fact that I was asking questions about what was in this new class's curriculum, and the administrators were not being straightforward with me about it, and they wouldn't answer my questions. They were very evasive. Eventually, they instructed me to send FOIA requests to the school and led me to believe that that would get me the information, but it didn't. I got very little information, a lesson plan for the first 2 weeks of school that had nothing to do with the course topic. And after that, they would claim that no public records exist for the class.
Well, you'd think some teachers would sort of plan out what they would want to teach their students. Tell me about your kids. What ages are we talking about? And why is it that you took an interest in wanting to get to know what they might be taught?
Okay, well, my kids are actually not a part of this particular class that's being taught. My kids are younger, they're in elementary school, and this is a high school class that's being taught. But I took an interest because of a teacher's social media post about the class, and she pictured a bunch of resources, and they looked like they were coming from one end of the political spectrum. And I just thought it doesn't make sense for a class to be presenting just one kind of view. They should be presenting multiple views from various perspectives so that kids can learn how to think critically and evaluate different views. So I honestly just started with asking questions. I wasn't going to jump to conclusions, and but then we went down this path.
Yeah. What's been the response from the school district?
Now they don't really talk to me anymore, but it started out with them saying, look, no, we do teach from multiple perspectives. And so then I would say, well, can you share with me any kinds of readings or assignments or what the kids are going to do? And when I would submit my FOIA requests, I never asked for material in advance. As a teacher, I know sometimes you don't prepare everything in advance. So I would ask for things in hindsight, like, may I see what was taught, over the past several weeks? And still, they would respond back to tell me no public records exist.
And just to be clear, is this a public school we're talking about?
Yes,
okay.
That's correct.
And again, you said your kiddos are younger, but is this their school district that one day they might be attending?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, okay. They will be going to high school one day, and I would like to see what's coming up.
Sure. Are you alone in this effort? Have you heard from other parents who are also curious?
Yeah, there's several parents who are curious about what's going on. I know of another parent who requested class curriculum for a regular language arts class, and she's been getting the same kinds of responses that I've been getting. There have been other parents sending FOIA requests and getting these really ridiculous fees to try to gain information. I just found out today that one of my friends sent a FOIA request, and she's told she has to pay $90,000 to try to get a response to her request about information about herself.
Yeah. And then you're saying that you're actually taking legal action as well. Tell me more about that and where sort of the case stands today.
Mm-hmm. Well, as things went on, I reached out to several different places because I got this suspicion that they're violating the Freedom of Information Act to prevent me from viewing curriculum. And I was lucky enough that the Mackinac Center did a complaint for me, and we filed in March. The district has responded to my allegations, and they're essentially denying a lot of them. And that's where we stand right now in the case. So now it depends. We'll see if the district wants to go for discovery or if they want to dismiss the case and finally give me what I've been looking to see. I don't know.
But you're not going to stop asking?
No, I think this is too important not to stop. There should be no secrecy in the public schools from parents. The schools and the parents really should be working together to educate our kids. And I haven't been, I'm just looking to see information and have a conversation about it. And I don't think that's unreasonable.
Yeah. Carol Beth coming on this morning and sharing her story. Carol, we appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.
You know, it's interesting to hear, from Carol's point of view, she's trying to find out essentially what's happening at this high school, what's being taught within this high school using the Freedom of Information Act, or FOIA, which is often used by news organizations. That's how we gather news. But it just brings out to that broader conversation of how concerned parents are into what is being taught in the classroom. I know she said her children were in elementary school, but she, again, advocating for a school that her kids will go to.
Right. Well, also the
some
fact
point.
that, it's a public school. And when you think about where these schools receive funding, it's taxpayer dollars. So if you're paying the tax in the district, you might want to know what's being taught to students, especially as we have seen, certain schools sort of teach a certain ideology, and perhaps you don't agree with it as a parent, or you don't want your children being exposed to it at such a young age.
Well, what changed a lot of that was COVID, because the majority of students had to learn from home.
Right.
They went virtual, which forced the stay-at-home moms or maybe stay-at-home dads or some that had to be there with their kids. They're too young. And again, just broadly speaking, but they were able to see some of the things that were taught, or maybe look at how some things were maybe placed inside math problems that were kind of questionable. Like, well, why is it like that? Why is this being taught? Or why are they reading this? Or are they too young for this? Now you've got parents with questions out there. Obviously, the bursts at the school board meetings and school board members being ousted. And now you have a parent like that who's going after the high school that her kids would eventually go to. Moms, rising up.
Don't mess with
No,
Mama Bear.
no, you see it right there.
That's a very clear lesson we've learned.